Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lorianne Casdia. Well, hello and welcome to Saturday. Our goal at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower others to a fulfilling, emotional, healthy, spiritual, and physical life so that you can feel empowered. Today, I am so excited to have Liz Martin, our Chinese medicine mentor, on from Hands-On Acupuncture and Massage Therapy from Stony Brook. Good friend of mine. She's been on before. She's a friend of the shows. We love having her here.
Welcome. Being here.
I'm so glad that you're here. So we were talking before the show, and I know that you had a great adventure, and I want to talk about that adventure today.
Sure.
And then we can circle back about your practice, because you have a lot of different modalities that you service in your practice, and also, of course, you're a mentor as well. Okay. So I want to talk about all those things. So
sure.
we have a jam-packed show today. So let's talk about your trip. Why did you go, and where did you go, and
which trip? The Sedona experience.
The Sedona experience. Yes.
Well, I'm part of a mastermind. My best friend is actually a Kundalini business mentor, and the trip that we went on was one of the retreats. So that's one of the 3 that we're going on. Next month, I'm going to Hawaii. But,
nice.
So Sedona was all about embodying who we are and being our authentic selves. And the idea behind this trip was the community of women that we went with. These are all coaches and healers. We all went together as a sisterhood. And Sedona was just life-changing. Seriously, it was just the energy of being there was incredible. The vortexes, it was about a week of just doing drum circles and yoga, meditation, but just being there, being in the energy was just incredible.
Help our listeners understand what that means. I mean, I get it.
Yes.
But how do you articulate the change? Because I get life-changing. Standing on the shores in Australia, it was a game changer. Just everything kind of clicked into place. What happened with you?
Well, the mountains. So from a Chinese medicine standpoint, the mountains are like earth, which is like very grounding. The earth is the pivot of your digestion, right, in Chinese medicine, but it's also it embodies who we are, like where we come from, like the ground, the earth, like, so it really comes back to like primal existence, and the energy of just the mountains and being this small person in this next to this huge this huge mountain, and
it's beautiful.
Yeah. And where we stayed was it was called Orchard Canyon. So it was in the canyons, and there was apple orchards all over with the trees. Where we were staying was actually, they called it the birthing canal. So very female, like playful energy there. Just amazing. I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, it's difficult to describe, but what I do usually happens is when things are out of balance for me, I always go to the water.
Right.
Because when I look out on the ocean and I'm standing on all that sand, it puts you back into that small space. Not minimize or diminishing ourselves, but what it does is it puts things in perspective, don't you think?
Exactly.
So when you're overlooking those beautiful, majestic mountains,
and they're red rocks too. They're like super red, like
right.
the earth, very earth energy.
Yeah, and that just brings us back to who we are. You said something when you started about being authentic. Let's talk about that. That's a terminology I hear people
everyone's here
throwing authentic around, and what does it really truly mean to you?
To me, authenticity means being who you are, no matter who's looking, and just going back to the core of like your child, like who are you, who were you as a child before all these influences came in, before all these conditionings in our brain, like who are you meant to be?
Right.
You know, why are you on this earth? Like that's authenticity to me, and just having integrity with who you are and not being afraid of being that trailblazer and not being afraid of being different.
Right. And not being afraid doesn't mean you can't be afraid, but that you embrace it and you go. You just take the leap, right?
Right. You just take the leap and, have faith, and, this is who I am. And it's kind of being like, I was taking that path, but going to Sedona, just like really releasing, like, this is who I am. I don't care what you think. This is who I am. This is who I'm meant to be for myself, for the world. Be that powerful person that, we're all here for a reason, right? So we were all given this authenticity, but what happens is we get clouded with other people's opinions and judgments and these boxes that we need to be fitting into.
And these judgments and these boxes that other people impose upon us, and we allow them to impose it upon us.
Right.
The purpose of that is to keep us small and to keep us away from who we are, because if we are who we are, then we're going to excel. You can't help but excel when you're genuine. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. When you're genuine, it just flows.
Yes.
And there's like a power in, truth, right? There's so much power in truth. Like, you don't feel like you need to be anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have to justify where you are, because you're just being who you are.
Right.
And it's okay. People don't have to agree with us, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't have to fit in, because fitting in is just being yourself. So if you're yourself, I think that fitting in just automatically happens. I see people struggle, and I know I came from that place of struggling and trying to morph myself to be what other people wanted me to be.
Right.
And I don't do that anymore, and I'm much happier, and life is so much simpler.
Yes.
Is that I am who I am, and if it doesn't work out, then it's not meant to work out, and you move on to the next, whatever the challenge is, be it work, home, family, whatever it is.
Agreed.
You need to remain yourself, because everybody else is taken, so why would you want to be anybody else?
Exactly.
But yourself, right?
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard because you get influenced by the people that you love, and they have their own stories and their own things that have happened, their own like traumas that create a story of like how things go, and they try to impose that upon you. And I think the important thing with authenticity is just really truly knowing who you are, and the only way you can do that is through meditation, through journaling, through getting acupuncture. Those are some of the things that help me to really just try to rediscover who I am and my own true authentic body.
So I know that through acupuncture, you can heal a lot of things, but emotional issues you can heal as well.
Yeah, well, Chinese medicine puts things into patterns. So a lot of times the emotions can manifest. If you have unexpressed emotions, they can manifest to disease. And I see that over and over. And acupuncture is a general practice, but I am one of those acupuncturists that loves to treat the emotions, because I see people that are not talking about who they really are. And when they're not in alignment with who they are, it physically manifests in your body.
Right.
So it's been interesting to me to see that over and over again. When someone's dealing with sadness or grief, they have lung issues, or if someone is somebody that worries too much, they have stomach issues, or somebody who's angry has an alcohol addiction, and that affects their liver. Like, so I'm trying to go through someone that is afraid of letting go can have, that's the metal, the lung. So I'm trying to think, what did I miss? Water. So water, somebody that has kidney issues, they're fearful all the time, that can, manifest in your kidneys and your bladder and in your life, and it can prematurely age you. Someone that's always fearful.
Circle back for 1 second.
Yes.
So you mentioned metal, wood, water, and there's one more.
Earth, the most important,
right,
what we're talking about.
Silly me.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because you actually have a quiz on your website.
I do.
And on your Facebook.
Yes.
Which is Hands-On Acupuncture and Massage Therapy.
Yes.
.com.
Yes. www.handsonacupuncture.com.
That's right.
Yes.
And on that quiz, let's talk about the quiz, because I took the quiz, love the quiz, and I think anybody listening should try it to find out what their element is.
So you want to take the quiz twice. So the first time you take it is how you were as a child. Like, so how do you remember yourself as a child? Like, I would say 6 or 7 years old, and take that quiz as if you were the child. And then the first time you get the results is like what you are to your core being, like what element that you tend to be towards. And then when you take it a second time, you want to take it how you are to the present day. So the second time will show what your imbalance is. times. So the first time is, this is who you really truly are to your core being, as your child, your authentic self. And then the second one shows where you need to be focused, where you're out of balance.
And it's important to be honest with yourself when you're taking the test, because nobody else is going to see it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter, what the result is. And there's no pass fail, and it doesn't go on a permanent record. So we're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. Can one take it? Does the outcome differ based on your emotion that day? So if you're having it like one of those days.
Usually not. I mean, it's usually pretty, it can shift. As you do healing, things shift. So the first time it shouldn't change. The second time can change because that shows the imbalance. But as you start to work through the things, like hopefully you're getting more imbalance. And nobody is completely balanced. It's just which things do you need to focus on? Like what are your triggers? Right. So it's interesting because I have an imbalance in earth, but I'm actually a middle person. So, and that's who I was as a child, like a perfectionist and, somebody that is internal, intuitive. And then I've just been so completely off balance and in the earth element, which, earth and metal helps to support the earth. So if you're imbalanced in earth, it can affect the metal as well.
Yeah. So the balance of all of them affect the others.
Correct. Yes.
So you want to try to kind of get them as much in balance as possible?
Yeah. So just to explain the elements a little bit. So as a Chinese medicine practitioner, we're looking at all 5 elements within the body. They're attached to different organs and meridians. So as a practitioner, we need to identify which one of those elements are out of balance. And when one is out of balance, it can affect the other because the whole body is working together. Right. Just like the whole community needs to be working together. That's why we're so unique. Yeah. That's why everyone needs to be different. Nobody should be exactly the same because we need to use our uniqueness, our authenticity to create community.
Which goes back to what I keep saying, exactly. That we're all here to serve one another.
Yes.
And we're here to learn something. And the only way we can learn is if we're not looking at ourselves all the time.
Exactly.
So if we're looking at the exact same person, how are you going to learn? It's going to be boring, right?
Right.
And uniqueness is fun.
Yeah, and appreciating those uniquenesses in other people is super important as well.
If I were to throw a terminology normal at you, what's your thought?
There is no normal.
Yes, exactly.
What's normal?
I agree.
I actually, love the weirdness, like I love when people can actually be who they are. It's like, you're weird, like we're quirky, we're weird, and they can own that. That's important.
But that's them, though.
Yeah.
It's really not quirky or weird.
Right.
It's just them, right?
Yeah. And those are the people that I want to surround myself with and connect with. You can connect at a deeper level with those people. Yeah. And I think that's what life is about, is connection and community.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny, although we don't have tribes anymore, I do have Iroquois in my background.
Ooh,
I'm a
that's
Iroquois.
Awesome.
Yep. Long story on that one. On my great-grandmother's side, my great-great-grandmother was an Iroquois princess up in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Those are the princess vibes coming out.
Yeah, baby. You got that. Explains everything. Excuse me. But with that, we don't have those tribes that are so visible now, but we do. Mm-hmm. Have you ever met somebody and immediately felt some kind of an affinity to them?
Yeah.
That's really comfortable.
Of you saying that.
Yeah.
Like you and I.
Yes, exactly. And to me, you're a tribe person. You're one of my tribe.
Right.
We're supposed to find each other. We've already made a contract up.
Yes.
When we were spirits, and we find our tribe members, and we're there to teach each other and learn from each other and excel with each other and lift each other up. So I really have a hard time, and I've watched you in different
lights.
venues and different lights have a similar difficulty of understanding people who like to push other people down.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Right.
I can't wrap my head around it.
I think I have an understanding it's their own insecurities.
Sure.
those people have some issues, where they have their own triggers that need to be worked out. Right. I think, but when you're so strong in who you are, you can recognize that in other people. Yeah. Like that's, like you always say, it's a you thing, not a me thing.
That's right. It's a you thing, not a me thing. That's right. That's a you issue, not a me issue. Yeah. And that's very empowering to be able to separate that. And I think that was a real good turning point for my life when I discovered this tool that I use that I'm writing the book on.
Yes.
And this tool is really, and thank you for bringing that up. This tool was nicely played.
This marketing who?
This tool was really helpful and functional to me, and I actually help other people utilize it. But it basically separates. Sometimes we, especially when we're like you and I are, which we want to have everybody happy, want to raise each other up, and can't really get behind people who are just negative and trying to push other people down so that they feel better about where themselves. They are.
Yeah.
And they could just instead be lifting other people up. And by serving as someone else, you take yourself out of your head game.
Right.
By taking yourself out of your own head game, you then are able to see what's really going on. Because when we get inside ourselves, we're not at our best.
Right.
We need to be outside ourselves to do that. So by separating and not owning what everybody else is doing and saying, okay, I'm taking 100% responsibility for you feeling bad today.
Right.
It's not me.
Yeah.
You're having a bad day. I don't have to have a bad day.
Exactly.
That's that codependency that our society kind of embeds in us and instills in us when we're growing up. And that is the difference between you issue versus me issue. And just because I utilize the word issue doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right.
It just has nothing to do with me. I'm still going to have a happy day. I'm there to support you not having a happy day
right.
or choosing a different avenue that you're choosing. But I don't have to now take it on and suddenly my day turns into something different than it was.
Agreed.
And by separating that out and owning what you're supposed to own, then you can really address that. And that's where you look at, what's bringing you down and what do you have to focus on to make it better.
Exactly. And what I also think about too is like, the people that you surround yourself are a reflection of you. So if you keep surrounding yourself by these type of people, and everyone has a bad day, and
sure.
We're there to support each other. But if you continue to get these same type of people in your life, it's time to look at yourself. It's time to be like, well, what am I mirroring that this person is coming to me? Like, why do I keep having people that are not respecting my boundaries? Why does that keep coming up?
Two different questions there, because setting your boundaries is important. Maybe
yes.
Perhaps you haven't set your boundaries.
Yes.
And then the other thing is the reflection of you. They're there to teach you.
Correct.
That's the whole point. Our relationship and relationships with anybody that comes into our lives is there specifically to teach you something. What that is, it could be a reason, a season, and a lifetime. We don't know.
Right.
But you have to figure that out. So when someone comes in and they're annoying the bejeebus out of you, you have to look at it and go, okay, what is it about it that's annoying?
Yeah,
and
why is it triggering me?
And oh my goodness, I see that. That's
right.
annoying. I have to stop doing that.
Yes.
So yeah, without a doubt, it comes in and shows you. But when you surround yourself with positive people,
right.
you find those same lessons just in an easier way.
Right.
And they bring you and lift you up higher. And then we all kind of plateau to the next, or rise to the next plateau. Because I look at life like stairs with a lot of landings. So you
right.
go up a set of 4 stairs and there's a landing. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to do something on that landing.
Right.
And you have the option of going down the stairs and repeating it and going back up the stairs, or going up the next flight and going up to the next level.
I like that.
And if you kind of have that visual, it depends on where you are. In the flight mode, meaning that you're going up the stairs, that's usually where you're having that struggle.
Yeah.
And you have to make the choice if you're going to go up the stairs or down the stairs.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the plateau, you're going to work on whatever that is that you went up there to learn.
Agreed. And I also think the universe shows you it in different relationships in your life. You don't learn it, you don't learn it through your best friend. Like, it's just going to get stronger and stronger until
you've learned harsher
and harsher until you learn the lesson.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I look back now and I look at all the lessons that were thrown in front of me for the same outcome,
right?
And didn't get it. Oh my gosh, got it. And it got more and more harsher, stronger,
right,
as you went along, because it's like, okay, you're not getting this. Okay, we're going to start, because you're going to end up where you're supposed to end up, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, just to apply it to my, my personal life, I'm, going through a divorce right now, and I don't necessarily, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I look at myself. I look at to see what lessons do I need to learn from this? To me, this was like the big thing. Like, you're not taking care of yourself. So we're going to push, we're going to push this out until you learn to take care of yourself. Now you have this gift to truly take care of you instead of worrying about a relationship, you know? So I take that and I'm like, wow, I have a gift. Like now I can, not be in, serial relationships, and now I can take care of me and my little boys and figure out what it is I really need.
And look at the role model you're being for your boys, because it's a big leap that you took, and it's brave, and that you should be proud of yourself. And it takes courage and bravery, but the universe provides the support that you need always, always, always. So if you find yourself in that kind of position, you got to take the leap, and it's hard, but that's the difference, I think, between sleeping through life and being awake.
Right.
Clearly you're awake.
Yes.
And that's what made you take that leap. And we want to waken people up here on Healthy Lifestyle. You are listening to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori-Ann Kazdia. We're here with Liz Martin, our Chinese medicine mentor from Hands-On Acupuncture, and we will be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori-Ann. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas that you want to share with us, please do so by emailing us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. Liz, I just want to jump right back in because we're having a great conversation, and you're a Chinese medicine mentor. What does that mean?
So what that means is that I combined acupuncture, Chinese medicine, with mindset, and applying it to the emotional, conscious and subconscious mind. So helping people to bust through blockages when it comes to their physical and emotional and mental health, and creating freedom and flow in their lives through the 4 pillars of Chinese medicine. Which are acupuncture, herbal medicine, meditation, and what was the 4th one? So acupuncture, and massage therapy.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's great. I love, and recommend everyone should have a mentor. And I don't say that just because I am one, because I'm a business and marketing strategy mentor.
Yes.
And a mindset mentor as well, because it's all about mindset. Anybody who's a mentor is dealing with your mindset.
Right.
And I just think that everybody should have one, because we all need sounding boards. Yeah. And I don't think we have the comfort all the time to speak to our spouses, because they have an emotional attachment to the outcome.
Right.
We need somebody who doesn't have an emotional attachment to the outcome. And I liken mentors, myself included, to someone who is almost like the lifeguard of your life, sitting outside the pool while you're in the pool. Now, while you're in the pool, you're treading water in the deep end, and you have all these things coming at you that you have to deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
Where we are, and you're attached to the outcome. You obviously don't want to drown. You want to get to the side coping. You want to get where you want to get, and you do have an attachment to certain outcomes. If we can release and learn to release our attachment to the outcome and go with the flow with the universe, you would be surprised how easy life happens, which just recently happened to you, actually. So not that you were controlling what was going on, but by releasing it and going through what you went to, you went to Sedona and you came back and you made a lot of life choices.
Yeah.
And have a lot of good things coming forward.
I think when you're
very easily, right?
Yeah. When you're in alignment with what you want and what you need, like the universe is meant to give it to you.
Yeah. Wants to.
Yeah. And when you're very clear on what you want, first it starts with asking, right? So I have already signed. So I started looking for a house like 4 weeks ago, found the dream one. And not only does
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Took me 2 years. 4 weeks.
Hit all the boxes because I was very clear with what I wanted.
Yeah.
And it even gave me something better. It was designed the way that I would have designed it, which was not what I was expecting.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I love stories like that. But that goes to show it's about mindset. It's about really, really knowing what you want. And how do you learn to know what you want? But you have to learn what you don't want too.
Right.
So it's really important. A lot of us, we focus on the end result. We really focus on that. And it's really the journey to the end result.
Agreed. And just to go back to mentors are like containers of what is possible.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't know something is possible until you see somebody else doing it or living that life that you want. So
True.
That's when I look at mentors, because I always take every experience that I have and try to learn from that person. So, by using the mentor and then being clear, wow, that is possible. Okay, I want that. You know?
Absolutely. And also what a mentor does is what I was going with my visualization of you in the pool.
Yes.
So you're in the swimming pool. I'm standing on the coping.
Thank goodness I don't have a pool in my house.
Right. That's right. The pool of life.
Yes.
I get to sit there and I can see everything going on because I have no attachment to it and make recommendations and suggestions based on my experiences and as a business and marketing strategist.
And accelerate and say, well, why don't you try this? Or how about this? Or did you think of this?
Based on what you're doing and what you're seeing and what your vision is. It helps crystallize your vision by having an outside person with no emotional attachment help you through it. Different than going to a psychiatrist, psychologist, which is dealing with a different thing. This is more looking at your life and almost being a verbal vision board, if you will.
Yeah.
To kind of put it in some kind of a visual for everyone. So that's what we do is we stand on the coping and go, shark. Yeah. And you're like, okay. And how are we going to deal with that shark? Yeah, pivot. Maybe you want to swim in the other direction. Maybe you want to pet the shark. It just depends on what you want your outcome to be.
Right.
But not attaching to an outcome, I find, is really important because it's really about the journey. And I know that my journey here took a lot of different changes in the last year.
Yeah.
That I would never have thought. But because I was open to it and I was fluid and had wonderful people like you in my life, you helped me see that just let it happen, let it go.
Right.
And by not trying to do the round peg in the square hole like I've done most of my life and try to make that work, I found that one, life is easier.
Yeah.
And two, by going with the flow, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes involved. I'm not just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I'm working and
wishing it for it to happen.
Right. You can't wish it to happen, but you can visualize it and then take the steps to allow you to go on that trail. Okay. And then how you need to go gets revealed to you by the universe. And that's what we're talking about, like having that dream house come true, right?
But being very clear with what is it, and then taking those little steps, right?
Yeah. So and knowing what you don't want, and you discover that through life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What doesn't work. I'm not going to do that again.
Right. Well, and there we talk about that learning curve that we talk about between going from the ego and going into the observer and saying, okay, that didn't work. Don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
So when you see it, you recognize it and you go, oh no, that's a hard no. So we're going to pivot and go in this direction.
Right. Yeah.
And you do that utilizing Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
And the 4 pillars.
Yeah. The 4 pillars and the 5 elements. That's why it's super important to just know yourself, because it's, Chinese medicine is great, but you have to have an understanding of it yourself. So I'm all about education. So, healing starts from within. Like you need to actually set foot in that office. Right. So, and, that's why I have you guys take the elements, because if you have at least a small understanding of who you are, we can start to bring you back into an alignment. So I combine acupuncture with a technique called NET, which is called neuro-emotional technique.
Right.
And basically, it has a belief that when certain situations happen in your life, you create a story in your subconscious of how to react to something. So as a child, something may have happened to you, and that's why some people react in sadness, some people get angry, some people don't react. There's so many emotions when it comes to Chinese medicine, and I help to uncover what age you were when those things happen and what emotion is behind it. And then that, creates the patterns, it forms the synapses of how you react to certain situations. So
That's why it's like when you have that reaction based on past experiences. That's what you're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, how do we realign ourselves so that we don't react the same way?
Right. Because sometimes, I think it's our own mind that prevents us from getting further, because we like create these stories and all these fears because of other things that have happened in your life. But if you learn to wipe those bad emotions, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but if you can create what emotion you want to put behind it, so the idea with what I do is what separates me from other acupuncturists is that we're combining that technique when we're getting treated, because a lot of times emotions can not only just prevent you from things in your life, but things in your health. Some people don't want to get better because they think if they get better, something might happen.
True.
So,
no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense. And the thing I like about it, although you dive deep as far as the Chinese medicine goes, what you are doing in a more stated, more simply is you heal people holistically.
Oh.
So from the inside out, you really take all of those levels, and it's not just you show up and have acupuncture.
Right.
We have conversations all the time about all kinds of different things,
yes.
and get treatment. And it is about connection, and it's. I love your practice.
Thank you.
Because when you go there, everybody there is just delightful.
That's not unintentional.
They make, without a doubt.
Yes.
And you've hand-selected everybody who works there,
yes.
and I love every single one of them.
Thank you.
They're so kind. The kindness that you walk into. If you're just having a day where life is challenging you and universe is throwing things at you, when you walk through that door, there's a calmness that is just, there's a serenity there. It's like a mini Sedona in your office.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a mini Sedona in
I
your
really
office.
try. Thank you. That means a lot, because it was intentional. I want it to be like a home, like your third, second home, like Starbucks is like third home. So this is like, this is your second home.
True. You know me well.
Come home. No, not yours, but I mean, in general, but, so it's important how people feel when they walk in, and also acupuncture is such a foreign thing to a lot of people. We're sticking needles in people,
Yeah, but it's not needles like you think. I mean, there's no pain involved.
Yeah, no.
And it's like, it's not, you don't even realize that they're there.
Exactly. They're hair thin, but people, that's still such a, it's such a foreign thing to so many. So like communication and love and connection is so important when people walk in, and, my receptionists are trained to do, make people feel that way as well, because we're a team,
Yeah, unbelievable. So. And the patients in there too. We find ourselves talking to each other, supporting each other.
Awesome patients.
It's just amazing. I walked in last week, I think it was, and one of your patients was giving me a compliment, and I'm like, I just need to go home now, because the perfect day right here. I'm done.
Yes, I love my patients.
Yeah,
they're great.
Just really kindness, and that's very reflective of you. And
thank you.
And when you're looking for people to be your mentor or to provide these kind of modalities, you really need to find someone where you feel comfortable and safe,
and vibes with you.
Yeah, and vibes with you. And when you're reaching out to this and starting, so we keep talking about being our authentic selves and knowing more about ourselves. So first steps about knowing ourselves. How does one go about that when we've learned a different way? Because this is a shift in life.
I keep going back, but like, try to remember who you were as a child. Like,
how does one do that?
Ask your mom. Ask your, like, if your parents are alive, ask your parents, like, Mom, how did I handle certain situations? Like, what did I do? It's all about questioning the why. Like, why did I do something like that?
And speaking of the why, I want to talk about that too, which was great. You're perfect. Just perfect transitions. So speaking about the why, I love this because we do this a lot, and it's important to know your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? So what is your why?
I have a lot of whys, but basically I want my kids to grow up in a world where, people are emotionally intelligent and are able to identify their own imbalances so they can learn, figure out how they can help themselves and help the world. So, and I need to heal first. I need to heal so that they can live in, to heal the future generations.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to like get rid of all of those boxes that we were put in and all those, societal norms. And I want my kids to grow up in a world where, being unique is great.
And we see a lot more of that with the millenniums, and a lot of them want to have their own businesses because they don't want to be in a box.
Right.
And they don't want to be dictated to of how they're supposed to work that day. And that's why, albeit the internet, social media, a lot of what you're seeing online, some of it is not good.
Right.
Flipping that to the good side, it's a really great place to connect with other people and take this huge world and make it a lot smaller, and be able to reach out and serve people like we both do in different countries at this point.
Yeah.
And be able to communicate very easily with different countries. So we're supposed to connect with each other, and that setting the world in a different motion is great, because if we're all more enlightened,
right,
we're going to see that kindness pervades, not fear, evil, all the things that people try to make us worry about. And we don't have to worry about that stuff, because that stuff will go away.
Agreed. I feel like the basis of all life, like why we're here, is connection, is love, connection, being able to function as a community, which we've lost that. We're on our phones.
We lost our tribes.
Yeah, we've lost our tribes, and we think that we need to do it all on our own.
Right. And,
no, we need to be able to support and trust and have integrity for each other. And that starts with our own healing.
Yes.
So I'm on a venture to heal myself for the sake of my children. So that's my why.
That's a great why. So if someone wants to do their why, how do they do a why?
How do they do
How
a
do
why?
they start their why?
I would start with journaling. Like, what are the things that you love? Like, start to get in love with yourself, starting to get in love with yourself. And this is what I usually tell my patients when they're just starting out. Like when they have fear, anxiety in their life, I'll say, we need to bring joy back into your life. So I have them write down 10 to 20 things that they love. Like it could be as simple as drinking a cup of coffee, putting earrings on, like traveling to a place, like making a list of like 20 to 30 things. And then you want to try to do at least 10 of those things every single day. Nice. And it's about putting that in your conscious mind, like little things that can make you feel joy, and
it shifts your camera lens, if you will,
exactly.
that I speak about all the time. You can look at the same exact thing from two different levels. Have you ever had the same email and read it one day and it was annoying as could be, and then you read it the next day and go, oh, it's not really that bad?
Yeah.
That's because of where you are, where your mindset is. Yeah. And so we need to be able to shift from camera 1 to camera 2, and camera 2 is just positive, finding the positive, no matter what the situation. Your flight gets delayed. Maybe it saved us from crashing.
Yeah, exactly.
Your flight gets delayed. I get more time to spend with you.
Right.
Things like that.
Shifting your conscious.
Shifting how you perceive something.
Right.
And not looking at it as, oh my gosh, this is negative. So if you could do that, and if you can change that learning curve quicker and quicker, you're going to see life is just a lot better. And then you do find it's so much easier to find the positive in things, don't you find?
Yeah, it's just like, I just read a reference once. You can look at a window and you could focus on that dirty spot on the window, or you can look through it and see, all the beauty that's behind that window.
Nice.
But yeah, I think also, just to go back to your question of like how you find your why, I think it's like the things that maybe trigger you or bother you, or maybe the things that you feel need to be changed. That could be a good why. Like I see that there's a problem. So how would you want to fix that problem?
Yeah.
So that would be like your why. So like I see that there's an issue with, maybe not all kids are emotionally intelligent, that a lot of times it's the parents that need to be healed that are teaching their children. So that's, so my why is to be able to change that. So I guess that's where you can start with your why too, is just finding the things that trigger you and that you feel need to be fixed, the problems.
to be a better you. I mean, we're all
you.
trying to strive to be the best us that we can be every
Exactly.
day. And the great thing about this is really cool, and a lot of people don't get that, is we have 4 seasons, right? And in spring, everything buds up and everything is new and fresh again and we all get energized and now we got the sun coming and it's lovely. Well, here's the mystery, and it's really not. Every day we have that opportunity to be a better person and be better than we were the day before.
Right.
So if we have that day that we make those choices that maybe we're not so proud of, or we make those mistakes, we need to forgive ourselves, because if we don't, it's like taking the poison ourselves and expecting someone else to die.
Right.
So we need to forgive ourselves so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And we need to start our day again and, restart our day and start every day with trying to be the best people that we're supposed to be,
and
the best person.
And stop comparing yourself to others.
Yeah, there's
just
no
being
use.
in competition with yourself.
Yeah, there's no use. And the competition with yourself is just to be the best person, the best self you could be.
To be better each day.
Yeah. So we get that restart every day, and I think we really need to focus more on that restart and say, you know what? I'm going to do this today. And today's, there's that expression, tomorrow's another day.
Right.
That's true. We get to restart again.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean we should do bad things today because we know we can restart tomorrow, but we can always try to be better the next day and just forgive ourselves and learn from those mistakes, and as opposed to being shamed by them. Don't you agree?
Agreed. Yeah. Anything, I'm not perfect and nobody's perfect.
Nope.
We're all human, right? But like whatever you do, I always look at everything as a lesson. Like, okay, how can I change this the next time? How would I do it? How would I react? Or what do I need to look at that, because we all know when something happens that feels wrong, like we can feel it physically in our body.
Us, right? Yeah.
So, and then it's all about feeling into ourselves and, through meditation, journaling, acupuncture, whatever it is.
Makes a big difference. And we talk about finding a habit every day. Find a new habit and try to implement it and develop those habits that make you feel good. And it doesn't have to be a large thing. It really doesn't.
No.
Whatever works for you. Journaling is great. Meditation, I totally recommend. You know that. Whatever it takes. There's all these self-guided meditations. There's online. There's YouTube. There's just no excuse not to try something new because it's all out there.
Right.
And it doesn't cost money. It doesn't have to cost money.
No.
And
it's not the big things that happen. It's the small things that you do daily that create who you are.
Yeah. And they're cumulative, much like a good marketing plan.
Yes.
It's cumulative. See what I did there?
Yes.
Liz, thank you so much for
being
here.
It's
You're
always
inspirational. A pleasure. Absolutely inspirational. And congratulations on your new purchase.
Thank you. So excited.
Thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle. Thank you so much to Liz Martin and the family at Hands-On Acupuncture and Massage Therapy in Stony Brook. Thank you to Joe, today's your first show with us, our new producer. So thank you and welcome. And as always, next week on Healthy Lifestyle, we're here every Saturday. In the meantime, follow us on social media, Healthy Lifestyle with LA. And as always, I'd like you to remember to do a little something for yourself every day. It starts there. Be kind to yourself. It starts there, and then you can be kind to others. We're here to serve and learn. Try to reach out to someone today.